From North Hempstead Town Supervisor Judy Bosworth and I, along with our town board, are proud to present At Home with North Hempstead, a series of special programs for children, seniors, as well as entertainment for residents of all ages. We hope you enjoy this special presentation and check back often for new content.
Hello, this is Chef Matt from the Cooking Lab, Port Washington. Welcome in our kitchen. Today we are going to make a nice tart from France, from Alsace. It's an Alsatian tart. It's basically a custard within a pie. It's very good. And the great thing is you can use it all year long. So for this summer, we're going to use nice strawberries, blueberries, and if it was the fall, well, you can simply put some apples. Now, let's start with the dough. Let's make some dough. So you will need about 250 grams of flour. That's about 1 cup and 3/4 cup of flour. You will need about 125 grams of butter. So that's about 9 tablespoons of butter. You will need a yolk. You will need about 2 tablespoons of sugar. You will need about 3 tablespoons of water and a pinch of salt. So let's start working. I'm going to add my salt now. So a pinch, 3 fingers up. I'm going to pour so you can see what we're doing. We make a little well in the middle. We add your sugar and you add your yolk right in the center. Now you have to start working very fast because the sugar is going to start cooking your egg, correct? So just break nicely your egg, and then at that point you're going to have the cold butter that you pre-cut in little pieces. Now it's important that it's cold because the heat of your hand is going to make it melt right away. And what you are going to do is you are going to start working the butter with the flour together, and you see, press it like this, and you are going to try to obtain like a sand consistency. All right, so you try to work as fast as you can. This is very relaxing. So I make this on a board right now, so you can actually see what I'm doing. The best way, so you don't dirty your kitchen, is try to do it in a bowl, a large bowl, so like that all the mess stays contained in the bowl. Now, the beauty of this, at first you're gonna panic because your hands are gonna be a little sticky and dirty, but as soon as we're going to add the water, everything's gonna come back together. So what's more important right now is get rid of the butter. It takes about 1 minute. It's not a long process, but you just have to make sure you really go for any kind of little, as soon as you feel the butter, just crush it. Then at some point, you can actually do this and really go for that scent. You see how it starts becoming sandy? All right, so we're about done. Now it's time to add the water. Again, make sure before you do that step that there is no more butter. Okay, so now we get together everything. You redo your well. You add your 3 tablespoons of water, and you add little by little the water. Now, what you're going to do now, you press it, okay? You press the dough together, press the dough together, press the dough together, and you will see that eventually, at some point, it's going to come together. Nice. You try to shape it like a bowl, you see? And you start cleaning up your board. Now it's possible that you need, if it's too dry, a little bit more of water. But the recipe I give you, the 3 tablespoons should be just the right amount. Now, as you are working the dough, your butter start melting, so you have to start going faster now. Okay? Let's not work that dough too much. Okay? Now, you clean up the board. Now, this is what you're going to do. When you start getting your bowl together, all you have to do, make it a little flat. You fold it in half, using your palm of your hand. Up, you push. You bring it, turn, push. Fold, turn, push. Fold, turn, push. You do that about 10 times. And now check it out. My board is completely clean. Now, one trick is before you start, I did it already, but I'm gonna tell you. So when you do that recipe again, you think about it, have a plastic wrap ready. So you shape the bowl, nice bowl, okay? Nice dough. And you put it in your plastic wrap, you cover it, and we are going to put it in the fridge. It needs to rest for about a good 25 to half an hour. Now, while the dough is in the fridge, we are going to prepare our batter that is going to turn into custard while it's cooking. All right, so you will need 3 eggs. That will do only 2 whole eggs and 1 yolk. All right, we are going to use 4 tablespoons of sugar, about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla for the flavor, and then we're going to add about 200 milliliters of milk. That's about 7 fluid ounces, and 100 milliliters of heavy cream. That's about 3.5 fluid ounces. So let's start. You always start with the egg. Now, this is how you want to be smart here. You are going to first do your yolk, prepare your yolk. Why? Because if it breaks, it's okay. You can still eat it because we need 2 whole eggs afterwards, okay? So the way you break it. So now the problem sometimes you have is the sharp edge of your egg is going to pierce the yolk. So the way I teach in class, you will just put in your hand, you open a little bit your fingers, and gravity takes care of the rest, okay? And then you have a nice yolk. Now, we're going to take the other eggs, same thing. You want to break them in a bowl first, because if you have any shells, then you're going to have a crunchy pie. We don't want that. So make sure there is no shell. That's one. So 2 whole eggs and 1 yolk. Now you are going to beat it just like a nice omelette. So you pierce the egg first, the yolk, and you go for it. Now, once you reach a nice, they're all together, you are going to add your vanilla. Then you are going to add your heavy cream. I added the milk, the heavy cream. Just make sure you put both. And we're going to add our sugar. So this is a very, very easy batter to realize. Very easy. Now, if you are not sure you had a shell, a piece of eggs or anything, and you cannot get it, at the end, just before you pour it in the pie, just have this over the pie and put the batter over it, and that will work fine. But technically, we should not have anything because we've been very careful. Now, believe it or not, it's already ready. So you are going to put your batter on the side, and we are now going to start working on our fruits. So we have nice strawberries. today. So I cut some already. I just wanted to show you how to cut your strawberries. So that there is no waste, correct? So we are just going to pinch the knife around this little root. We take out the root, no waste. Now you have a nice strawberries, and the way you do it, you just cut in half. If you wanted to cut in quarters, it depends on the size of your strawberry. What's important is if you have a big strawberry and a small one, just always make sure you cut them all the same way. They're all the same size. So like that they cook evenly. Make sense? All right, so we have our strawberries ready. We have our blueberry. I'm not gonna touch them. Now, if you had an apple, what you would do, you will cut it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you how to cut an apple. So like that, if it's the fall, you can do it as well. So you will first peel your apple. So the way you peel your apple, very simple. You start from the top like this, and then you go down. You bring always, you hold and you bring the blade to you. And then you go around, all right? So you have the apple is like this, and then you basically just go down like this all around. Now, when you're going to do this, you have to watch out, especially with the knife, okay? You take your time. You are on your own in the kitchen. Let me take the board. Okay. You're gonna cut it in half like this. Then the other half, you cut it in half again. And then you wanna take the center out. So you basically just put it straight. So now you have a nice clean quarter, okay? So now this quarter, you are again going to cut it in quarter. And the quarter itself, you're going to cut it in quarter. And you should have about this size. And that will cook just the right way for your pie. Okay? So now the dough should be ready after half an hour. Let's roll it. All right, so the dough now is ready. It can stay longer in the fridge. The harder it is, actually, the easier it is to work it. Now, there's something we have to make sure is turn on your oven on 450 Fahrenheit. You want the oven to be nice and hot, okay? So, what you're going to do is you have a little bit of what you call bench flour. You take some flour and you are going to flour the board. Now, I like to actually do this. You don't want an excess of flour. This dough is great, especially with the kids. I'll tell you why. Because it's very forgiving. We're going to roll it. It might crack and it might stick. When it sticks, it's easy. You put some flour. And when it cracks, the beauty of this dough is you can actually put it back together. So we'll see. It's not going to be extraordinary. It's not going to be perfect, but you are going to make it look perfect. And you take your time, and it's no problem. Now, before we do, so you have your rolling pin, you are going to flour everything. You flour your pin, you flour your surface. As soon as it starts sticking, you just stop, you add more flour, okay? So you start putting some pressure in the middle, and you start rolling. Now, if I keep on rolling this way all the time, what's going to happen? I'm going to have a long bit of tart. What I want is a circle, okay? So this should be able to make about an 11-inch pie. If you have a 9-inch pie, that works as well. Just making sure that if you use a 9-inch pie, actually I'm going to use a 9-inch pie, I will not use all the batter, okay? So anyway, you give it a quarter turn, making sure you go against the flour so it doesn't stick, making sure always it doesn't stick, and you roll. Now, as you can see, there is some crack on the side. It doesn't bother me at all. Make sure you turn it, give it a quarter turn, another quarter turn, and then you aim at Oh, you see what happened here? You stop right away, add a little bit of flour on your rolling pin, add a bit of flour on the dough, and we keep on rolling. Now, as soon as you reach a nice, the size of your pan, so basically you take your pan and you put it in the middle. You see, I'm a little short because I need to take into account the border, correct? So it needs to be at least this over the entire circle. So I'm almost there, but now this crust is very, very sweet, very nice. So even if it's a little thick, it's actually okay. Voila. So this should be good. We have it right here. One last. All right, now the way you do it is, first you need to grease the pan. Very important, because if I put this pan in the dough in the pan, it's gonna stick. So what I do all the time, can use butter. I use a little bit of oil, okay? And then what I do with a little piece of paper towel, I just make sure I grease everywhere. Now, make sure you grease everywhere. The side, so my tie is a little tricky because I have those little wave shape. But just make sure you put it everywhere. Now take your time when you do this, because it will be great at the end when you're done. You'll be grateful you took your time to grease the pan. All right, so once the pan is nice and greased, all right, you are going to take your dough like this. You roll it just like this, about halfway, lift it. You can bring this back on, and now let me try to put it in. Now, don't push on it, otherwise it's going to cut right away. So what you do is very gently, you lift this, the sides, and you bring it in nice and gently. You see, you lift and bring it nice and gently. So you go all around, very, very gently, and you push with the back of your finger, you push the dough so it really gets on the corner. Now you try to have no air trapped between the pan and the dough, otherwise when it's going to cook, it's going to form a bubble and it's going to lift your custard. So you don't want this to happen, you want a nice flat pan. Pie. All right, now once you're there, you are going with your little finger, you're going to push down against the bottom of the dough. And once you're done, I want to show you an example. Here, for example, I have just a tiny little hole. So what I do is I take extra dough that I'm not using here, and I just put on it. So you see, the easiest patch ever. So now when you're done, all you have to do is you roll the top here, you roll like this, and you get rid of all your... So I have a lot of leftover because, again, I went for an 11-inch pie. So this dough, you can totally keep it and use it later. So I put it in a plastic wrap. Okay. Now, your dough, you're almost done. All you need is to make sure there is no air trap between the dough and the pan, which will happen. So you want to poke little holes so the air can get out. So the first thing you do, you're going to poke holes right at the border, right here, all around, all around. And then you just go, you don't go all over the place, but you make sure you have all nice and sparse. All right, like this. And the pie is done. Now, all we have to do is decorate it, correct? So we are going to take all little strawberries, and so the design you make, this is your final product. Oops. So you have to make sure that you make it a nice design. So one easy way with strawberries is you make it a nice little flower, correct? And then you can add other strawberries all around, like this. And then I will put my blueberries all around. So a little bit of blueberries this here around. So you want to make sure when you cut a slice that everybody has a little bit of everything, correct? All right. Like this. A little bit in the center. Okay. And between, why not? Okay, so now we have a nice fruit tart. Ready to receive the custard. So the custard, just before you pour it, just make sure you give it a nice mix. By now the sugar is dissolved. All right. Now, again, this is for an 11-inch pie, so I'm not going to put too much, okay? I just want to cover the fruits. So don't pour too strongly, otherwise it's going to disturb the fruits and you are going to lose your design. So just pour gently, a bit everywhere. Like this. And once you start reaching the height of the fruits, you know you can stop. So I'm going to pour a little more. And there we are. Now, it's going to be hard to transport to the oven. So what you want to do is have a little tray, and all you do is place your pie in the tray. And now you're going to put it in the oven. So the oven set at 450, you are going to leave it for 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, you are going to lower your oven to 390 degrees for about 25 minutes. And let's see how it looks in 25 minutes. I don't want it to be all set. You want it to still be a little flabby, it's okay, but you want it to be cooked, okay? So you see at 25, maybe it needs a little more, but we can always add more. All right, so our tart is baked. It's taken about 25 minutes. This is how it looked like. Of course, it was a little more inflated, but what happened is you need to let it cool down. This is not a pie that you want to eat hot. The custard needs to settle. So it needs to cool down for at least a good 2 hours, at least. You want to eat it room temperature. Even cold is okay, but definitely not warm. Now, let's see, you want to make it, you want it to look good, so you are going to add a little bit of confectioner sugar. All right, and then let's try it. So, a nice slice like this. I'm going to add this on my plate. I want to show you. So of course the color of the berries hide how this looks like, but basically you see how it's settled, it's solid. Let's try it. So again, you can repeat this recipe all season long. Choose the fruit you want. Now, thank you for joining us at the Cooking Lab. Let's cook together very soon. Bon appétit!